Thank you, because I think you have done everybody, but just the last thing that you've done showed how much the naturalization of the racialized and fundamentalist common sense have come to dominate even our discourse. And I think it's not incidental that both David and Sami mentioned the burning of the satanic verses. This was a foundational event also that Women Against Fundamentalism got together, because already then we understood what David said, that you cannot just look at racism or you can in terms of majority versus a minority, but as feminists and in other minorities, and you also had to look at hierarchies and power relations within our communities. So we established an organization in which we felt South of Black Sisters called it then the third way, long before Tony Blair and Anthony Giddens and Bill Clinton. So, but we were faced not only in terms of government, but with blatant racism of people like Faye Weldon, who said that the Quran is intellectually poor and was very racist against Muslims and anybody who actually was not like the white liberal kind of hegemonic ideology. And on the other hand, you had those who felt what Emmanuel Castell called defensive identity communities, that we have to fixate boundaries of defense of who we are and what is right and what is wrong. Otherwise, if not physically, emotionally and mentally, we are run the risk of annihilation. But the victims of this have been not only women, but all minorities within these communities. And of course, multiculturalist policies help to reify and crystallize the power relations of these so-called authentic leaders of the community in an attempt to build some kind of lines in the sand in order to prevent fatwas, to prevent violence, at least here in our space. And that brings me to this question about what is human, what is person? Because I think part of the lessons of all what we have heard today is that we cannot look at the human just in a fixed, reified way. We need to look at it in an intersectional way, to look at particular social occasions from where situated gaze at the society and in the world and various issues are open. But unlike identity politics, which kind of oppose this kind of exclusionary so-called universalism with identity politics, you have to tease out and differentiate between social occasions, identifications, and normative value system. And this is why not everybody who was born Muslim have the same kind of ideology. Not everybody who was born Catholic or Jew or and it's not just a question of class or gender or stage in the life cycle, or we heard about disability, which affect the way that we talk about. But we also, and again I must go back to Women Against Fundamentalism, because this is at the heart, I think, of the lessons of what we're talking about. We realize we situated differently, but we share a common value system, and therefore we can transcend and operate beyond borders and boundaries, both here and globally. And this is part of the issues which I think become more and more urgent now, because it's very easy. I remember at a certain kind of point when we started to talk about what now is called intersectional analysis and so on, we were accused of depoliticizing, because if all women are not the same and oppressed the same and are sisters automatically, then we are depoliticizing it. Shortly afterwards came the deconstructionist, post-cultural, postmodernist revolution, and suddenly we were too political. We still talk about kind of activism. We didn't just looked at free-floating signifiers of, but still saw people embedded in particular social and political and economic power relations, which are not to be conflated with how we judge them, how we identify with them. So I think this is a lesson about what is the human, what is a person, and I think it's important to recognize legal discourse, and a lot of the human rights struggles and defense have anchored itself in legal discourse because this present particular achievements in this area. But we are also social activists, not just social science, and we know that the meaning of terms, the meaning of discourse, very much depends on the narrative, on the common sense in which these laws, in which these regulations, in which these relations of power are being perceived. And if we have done anything today and in past activities and the future activities of our separate and combined activities, is to try and deconstruct this racist and also too often I don't want to go into labels. It's not always, as Gilles said, fundamentalist, but we have to look at issues in a more nuanced way, more situational way, more intersectional way, and I think this is the way forward. Okay.
Thank you very much. So, a long day, lots to think about. Can I extend my thanks to all the speakers for such stimulating input throughout the day, for challenging each other but not coming to fisticuffs. That's always helpful. For you, for the questions that have come back to the panel, but also for your engagement throughout the day. A couple of people that need special thanks. One is Steve Thorpe, and thanks for all your work you've done in supporting the organising of this day. And also in her absence, Rebecca, who helped, Rebecca Wally, helped out from the Runnymede side. Can I extend my thanks to the co-directors of CMRB, both Phil Marfleet and Nira Yuval Davis, who are a joy to work with, and I think of establish a partnership which I hope continues long into the future. Watch out for the podcasts of today. Share them with your friends and your colleagues. Watch out for the film that will come out as well. And we're aiming to get a publication out within the next reasonable period. We've not got a kind of academic publication timeline, so within this year. And I hope that we can use that as a base to share this discussion and extend it even further. So thank you all very much.